Mike asks, with all the video players on the market, what's your take on VooPlayer? Thanks. VooPlayer, for those that haven't gotten any emails about that today, well, let's check my Gmail real quick. I'm going to guess we probably got a few of those. Yeah, VooPlayer is something that's come out. It's another video player. And it's another video player for marketers. And essentially, we all should know the importance or the advantages, I guess, that third-party players can bring to the table. As we all, again, should probably know, you can produce out of Camtasia. I'll go to Produce and Share here, and you'll notice these presets here. These are called the Smart Player presets. TechSmith, and therefore Camtasia, has its own player. Here's the basic rule for anyone new that hasn't heard me say this 100 times before. If you want to watch a video, you gotta have a player. You need to have some kind of player software. Well, TechSmith provides a player, and it has some nifty features like tables of contents, hotspots that are clickable. Here's the problem. And I don't know why this continues to be such a problem. But the Camtasia player is a bear at best, being generous, and I'm being kind here. It's a bear to embed into an existing website. Why? Because it spits out about, at last count, about a dozen files in 4 different subdirectories to be able to provide this software that is the player. And it's just very difficult. Whereas something like YouTube, why can we watch videos on YouTube? Because YouTube provides the player. Okay, all we do on YouTube is upload a video file. And then YouTube wraps it all up in a nice little player that has the controls and player stuff and all the stuff that YouTube's player does, right? But on YouTube, for example, we can get what's called an embed code. In other words, we can configure the player the way we want it, with the features that we want, to embed upon our website, and it will spit out a line of code. And it's literally one line of code that we can paste onto any HTML page, into a blog post, onto a page, it doesn't matter. And it just works. Okay, and yet, the only way to get the Smart Player features of Camtasia easily is to upload to their sharing site, screencast.com. Yeah. I don't know. Michelle likes screencast.com, and certainly there are good uses for it and stuff, especially if you need or want to use the Smart Player. This is like literally your best bet. So that being said, there are benefits and lots of third-party players out there that we can produce our videos out, just like we were going to upload them to YouTube. And I'll just kind of lay this out a little bit. When I create a video, I almost always, unless I'm specifically using the Smart Player, I will use one of these 2 options. And typically MP4 only, which is the video file that I mentioned. 720p is generally very good for web-based stuff, right? So I'll just spit out the video file and maybe upload it to YouTube, where I'll have a player. Or if I'm going to embed it on my website, I'll use one of these third-party players. And I have a few that I actually use. I use Simple Video Pro from our buddy Nick Lapola and Ain Tompkin. I use Press Play, and I use Easy Web Video. So the thing of it is that there are lots of these third-party players, and there's stuff coming out all the time. And so here the question basically comes about for one that my buddy Peter Beatty is, I think he's just being the launch manager, and it is called VooPlayer, VOO Player. So let's go take a look at this real quick. And VooPlayer, actually, this isn't new. I believe that it's been released before. I don't know if these guys bought the rights to it or what they did. And the deal with third-party players is that you can get a bunch of additional features. So, for example, in Camtasia, we can use hotspots that are clickable, right? And these third-party players allow for a lot of those same kinds of things. But essentially, it's probably a pretty good deal if you don't already have a video player that you like. And I know that this one does a couple of interesting things. One is it lets you, for example, here, it makes it pretty easy to put in your Amazon S3 video link after you upload it. You can use them from Dropbox or Google Drive, and it just makes it kind of easy. But one of the other things that it does that's kind of interesting is it allows you to do things like split testing on Facebook videos. But the thing is, like I say, there's lots of players out there. If you don't have a player, a third-party player, then it's kind of handy to have one. But most of these, I'll just make the designation here, are designed for marketers. So I could, maybe put an opt-in form in the player itself. If you just want to easily host your videos, and let's say you're on WordPress, there are plenty of free plugins that you can just give it the URL of your video, no matter where you upload it, like Amazon S3 or whatever, and stuff like that. And let's see, the email here says it's a Wistia crusher. Wistia, in case you don't know what that is a service. I also use Easy Video Suite. It's a service, and I'm just not a fan of paying monthly for disk space and bandwidth. And some people swear by Wistia. I have no idea why. It's hideously expensive compared to hosting your stuff on Amazon. So anyway, here's your comparison chart. Yeah, this one does all of this and these do none of it. Probably. But here's kind of gives you an idea of what some of these third-party players do. Okay, so let's see how much it is. Yeah, Wistia can be like $300 a month to get any decent, if you have decent views and a lot of videos and stuff. When these things kind of come out in a launch fashion for $37, and I'm guessing there's like a OTO that adds more features and stuff, but yeah, if you do videos for these kinds of things, having a third-party player, if you don't have one, is kind of a good deal. When it comes down to pricing too, usually, since you're not going to be paying a monthly fee for hosting, most of the time what happens with the better players, they'll run you like $197 to $297, and you want to pick these up on a launch kind of thing, because usually they're discounted and they're a one-time fee. So that's kind of what makes some of these things worthwhile, right? So that's kind of my take on it. Gord also says, has one feature about saving monthly cloud costs by utilizing your Dropbox for hosting your video. I don't know how much that saves you. I mean, if you have a lot of videos and use a lot of bandwidth, don't you need to boost your Dropbox account? So yeah, you're paying monthly hosting for that. But Dropbox compared to Amazon, I don't think there's anything more affordable or cost-effective than Amazon. That's the best thing I've ever seen. For pennies per gigabyte of disk space and bandwidth, it's just you can't beat it with a stick, in my humble opinion. And Julie says, and this is worth noting, that $300 a month buys all the Baileys she could drink in quite a while. Yeah, you could even kick it up a notch. We're talking a pretty decent scotch at that point. That's a little bit about, how much was this? $37. So you can check out the deal here and stuff. I'm thinking $50,000. If you get 50,000 views on your videos, then yeah, that's probably a pretty good deal.